General James "Mad Dog" Mattis, President Trump's defense secretary, has been busy killing ISIS terrorists and sending a clear message to America's enemies. That message is clear: America is no longer on defense. One enemy in particular, ISIS, has been frequently feeling the full force of the United States military. Airstrikes against various ISIS targets have resulted in the terrorist organization being almost completely destroyed with little infrastructure left. In a recent airstrike carried out by American forces in Syria, a building which was suspected of producing chemical weapons was destroyed. Officials stated that the building was targeted because the concern was ISIS was getting very close to developing deployable chemical weapons, which could have been used in desperation as ISIS forces continue to lose ground in the Syrian capital of Raqqa and in other parts of Syria. Colonel Ryan Dillon, a key military leader based in Iraq, stated, "We know that ISIS has proven in Iraq that they are willing to use chemical weapons. We have not seen the use of chemical weapons in Syria, but we don't want to wait for them to use it either." The most recent and reported American airstrikes in Syria occurred on Monday, and it was this operation which destroyed the aforementioned ISIS chemical weapons facility located near the town of Deir, Arizona's R. Other targets vital to the ISIS infrastructure were also destroyed, limiting the terrorist organization's ability to operate. When asked about the type of chemical weapons that ISIS has developed, Colonel Ryan Dillon stated, "Largely, they have been rudimentary and have not had a significant effect on the overall campaign." Colonel Dillon continued to explain that, "We do not want them to get good at this, so any time that we find or know that ISIS has stockpiles or have put together anything that can be used to make these weapons, we will strike them." Since the beginning of June, American forces and the U.S.-supported Syrian Democratic Forces have executed an effective and deadly campaign against ISIS, which has resulted in nearly half of the city of Raqqa to be liberated of the deadly terrorist group. Additionally, U.S. forces are simultaneously cutting off ISIS access to the Euphrates River, leaving the terrorist vermin nowhere to run. Ordinarily, such specific military operational details are not released, but given that ISIS in Syria is on the brink of defeat, military officials have been more forthcoming with developments in the region. In addition to ISIS being pushed out of Raqqa at the beginning of July, American and Iraqi forces successfully took back the city of Mosul, with Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi declaring Mosul liberated as of July 9. There is no question that American forces, joined by our allies, have made significant progress in defeating ISIS and making sure that their fighters are not lucky enough to make it to the shores of America. In a previous statement, President Obama once declared ISIS a JV team, but they proved to be anything but that. With a significant amount of infrastructure, weapons, oil, and money, ISIS was able to rain terror across the Middle East and were very effective in placing terrorist fighters within the United States and Europe. Thanks to Secretary Mattis and President Trump, ISIS is on the run, and their days are numbered. President Trump has made it very clear that one of his top priorities is to protect Americans and their interests. He will not stop with the military strikes until ISIS is completely destroyed. Americans now more than ever still need to remain vigilant in supporting President Trump as he continues to deal with America's enemies both abroad and right here at home. Senator John McCain, for example, and his minions in the political elite are partly responsible for ISIS gaining the military capability they have had, and this needs to be brought to light. Beyond what has been reported on Monday, military officials have not provided any additional updates as to what is in store for Syria and if the United States intends on forcibly removing Syrian President Bashar al-Assad once ISIS has been completely defeated. HT Conservative figures.